What is going on, Arizona sports fan family? How we doing out here today on this Friday evening? Well, we're here to talk some Arizona Cardinals, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we are sitting Friday evening. We got Saturday with some NFL games, and we got some Sunday with some NFL games, ladies and gentlemen. And that is going to be the last game for the Arizona Cardinals. Big shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Blaze, we got Aldo, we got Michael. What's up, everybody? Appreciate you guys for being here today. It's going to be a fun-filled show today. This is one of the last live streams that we're going to be doing in the regular season of the Arizona Cardinals. And y'all, we're almost there. We're almost there at the end of the finish line. And I know sometimes it was like clawing your eyes out, trying to pluck some hairs and some very horrible spots, right? Some inflicting pain on these last games for the Arizona Cardinals, being that, watching these games were brutal, right? We are on a 5-game losing streak. Nothing new there. The Arizona Cardinals might be on a 6-game losing streak after this 49ers game. So, man, I am just trying to get through this season as fast as I possibly can because boy, it's tough out here for a Cardinal fan. It absolutely is. Today, what we're going to talk about is the job of the Arizona Cardinals if, and I truly mean if, Michael Bidwell decides to pull the trigger and, do what most fans want him to do, right? I know that's one of the biggest intrigues going into the offseason pertaining to Cliff Kingsbury. Is he going to be our head coach for the 2023 season? And I've heard a lot from what a lot of, fans have to say, right? Some fans out there are saying, hey, if we're not going to get Sean Payton, don't move off of Cliff. I see where you're coming from there, but man, I think it's kind of I think it's time. I think it's time to move off of Cliff because right now the fans are as zombie mode as you possibly can put it out there, right? This organization, if we do move off Cliff Kingsbury, I want to kind of talk about, is this job as intriguing as Arizona Cardinal fans think it is, right? So if by any chance we have any other fan bases in the chat right now, I am curious to figure out from the outside looking in to figure out what you guys think is how intriguing is this job right now. So if we're putting, all the other teams in line with the Arizona Cardinals, like let's just put these teams out there, right? Let's put these teams out there that are going to maybe look for another head coach, right? The Carolina Panthers, the Colts, the Arizona Cardinals, the Falcons, the Denver Broncos, and the Houston Texans. Let's just talk about those 6 teams right now. Where does the Arizona Cardinals lie within those 6 teams that I mentioned in terms of being intriguing for a possible Sean Payton, for a possible next up-and-coming head coach out there, right? I'm so intrigued. Like, I'm truly intrigued. Now, I know what I think, but that's the thing. As an Arizona Cardinal fan, right, I'm very biased. I'm going to sit here and say, well, I think it's very intriguing, right? If you look at all those other teams, I think it's very intriguing. But I'm curious to figure out from the outside looking in to see what other people are thinking, right? Because that's what it's going to truly matter, right? That's what Sean Payton's doing. He's looking at from the outside looking in. And I know a lot of people are out there saying, well, if Sean Payton comes, Michael Bidwell is going to need to release the reins. And you're right. You're 100% correct. Is that something that Michael Bidwell is going to be willing to do? We don't know. right? We absolutely don't know, because if Sean Payton is attainable, then he is going to need the absolute autonomy to do whatever the living hell he wants. And is Michael Bidwell going to be up for that? That's the biggest mystery going into the 2023 season. And I see where some fans are saying we're just keep Cliff for one more year, and if Sean Payton's available in 2024. But here's the truth of the matter here, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the truth of the matter. Once Sean Payton becomes available, it's going to be so much harder to attain him, at least in my mind. So much harder to attain him. He's a hot commodity right now, and people are talking about giving up a first-round pick for this guy. Now, I'm not on that boat right now, being how high we're picking right now at the 4th overall spot right now. So I'm not there, but the rumors are out there, right? The rumors are out there. So that's what we're mainly going to talk about on this stream, right? How intriguing is this Arizona Cardinal position for any head coach from the outside looking in? Now, before we get started, definitely do me one huge favor. Right now, we're sitting with 37 people in here right now. Definitely do me a favor and smack the like button on this video. If this is your first time here, definitely subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. We're on the road to 11K, and I can't do it without you guys. Definitely subscribe it up. It is free, and obviously smack the like button for the algorithm. All right, let's dive right into it here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's dive right into it. Let's talk about how intriguing is this position, right? If Cliff Kingsbury does get the boot. Now, as we said earlier in the stream, the Arizona Cardinals has one game left, right? We got one more game against the San Francisco 49ers, and boy, do I hope the San Francisco 49ers come out and absolutely obliterate the Arizona Cardinals. Truthfully, truly. And the reason why is because as of right now, what we've been hearing is Michael Bidwell still hasn't made a decision, right? Or at least that's what the outside perspective and what they want us to hear right now is that Michael Bidwell has not yet made a decision yet. Now, I was able to catch a little bit of Quentin Harris talking to 98.7 when I was driving a little earlier today. And honestly, I don't want Quentin Harris to be the next GM. I truly don't. And one of the biggest reasons why is because when I hear him speak, I am hearing Steve Keim speak, right? I can't talk about, Adrian Wilson right now. I know everybody needs to be absolutely politically correct, and I'm right there with you. But I want a level of, I don't know, just not seem like you're so detached from what the fans want. Because, a lot of times the fans are absolutely right. Now, not all the time, right? Fans aren't right all the time. And then that's the absolute truth. But I want a GM. I want somebody that's going to be in charge of this organization that at least has some sort of ear out there, right? In the world of where the fans are. So I don't know how I feel about Quentin Harris, truly. I don't, especially hearing him speak. I'm still a little positive about Adrian Wilson, but if he doesn't get the job, no worries. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal to me. But going back to that situation, Quentin Harris, politically correct, basically said all the right things out there, right? And I get it, right? You're probably mad. Well, Mike, he's not going to go out there and out Cliff Kingsbury. I know, I agree, right? But there was some questions asked pertaining to the draft and what he would have done. I think that would have been a perfect opportunity for maybe the fan base to get happy, right? To get excited about like Quentin Harris. And to me, when I listened to him, I was like, okay, oh boy, here we go. Talking in circles, doesn't really know what we want. I want somebody with a plan. That's who I want. I want somebody with a plan, and I wasn't expecting anybody to get pointed out, but like, damn, I wanted to hear something other than some politically correct mumbo jumbo. But Cliff Kingsbury, at least as of right now, has not been. It's the biggest mystery. Let's just put it that way, right? The biggest mystery right now, we're sitting 48 hours away or less than 48 hours away from our last game versus the San Francisco 49ers. And a lot of fans are still kind of confused, right? A lot of fans are still shocked. A lot of fans are still worried. A lot of fans are still hesitant to believe that Michael Bidwell can make such a drastic move when honestly, I think it's the right decision to do. Now, I ended up putting this tweet out here right after I listened to that Quentin Harris and obviously the that interview. I put this out there because we all know that Cliff Kingsbury got an extension, right? We all know that. Now, there is reports coming out saying that his contract is fully guaranteed. This is the tweet that I ended up putting out, and I'm curious to figure out if you guys agree. I don't care that Cliff Kingsbury's contract is guaranteed. If Michael Bidwell wants to bring back this fan base, he knows what to do. The injury excuse is such a scapegoat if that's the choice he makes. Extending everyone this offseason was the dumbest thing he could have done. And I still truly do believe that Michael Bidwell went on a shopping spree and acted like Oprah Winfrey. You get an extension. You get an extension. We all get extensions. That was the dumbest thing you could have done. Nobody has proven anything going into this offseason or coming out of this offseason, right? Nobody proved anything. Keim didn't, Cliff didn't. Now, I was a little worried about Kyler, and I was a big advocate of him getting paid. And am I wrong? Right now, I'm actually starting to kind of backtrack on the Kyler situation because now I feel like we're bent over a barrel at this very moment. And most fans feel that way, right? Whether you're pro Kyler or con Kyler, right? Most fans feel like the Arizona Cardinals are strapped right now because of where we are. But the dumbest thing that Michael Bidwell could have done out there was extend everybody. Absolutely nobody, and I mean nobody deserved an extension, let alone a 5-year extension to really put this organization at hostage. And that's what we feel like. I don't know if you guys as fans feel like that, but I feel like that as a fan. I feel like right now we're being held hostage by a Cliff Kingsbury that's constantly always looking like a deer in the headlights. Steve Keim, although reportedly he's going to be gone at the end of the season, I feel hostage to him and his dumb decisions that he's been doing for the last 10 years. And now Kyler Murray. I feel hostage to that situation because let's be honest, even the pro Kyler Murray fans out there right now have a level of hesitance, have a level of, damn, did we make the right decision? Damn, we're not going to see Kyler Murray until what, week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8, just really depending on when in October we're going to see Kyler Murray. Now, we're all trying to think positive, right? We're all trying to think maybe Kyler Murray can come back at the beginning of the season. That's fool's gold, at least as of right now. I will be shocked if he does. Now, if he does, that would be the dream for the Arizona Cardinals, right? But just to be a little bit more realistic, let's keep him at the timetable of October. That can be week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7. So right now, Arizona Cardinal fans feel hostage to the situation. So that segues me into this topic, right? That we have to talk about. Who has the most intriguing job coming into this next 2023 season, or at least this off season? Who's going to be available? Which coach is going to be that next intriguing candidate to come out that a lot of teams are going to want? Because right now, the Panthers, the Colts, the Arizona Cardinals, the Atlanta Falcons, the Denver Broncos, and the Houston Texans. Now, you have some notable people to talk about. There's rumors that the Cowboys, or rumors that, the Chargers might also need a head coach. I'm just sticking with those 6 right now. Who is truly the best intriguing job available between those 6 teams? The Carolina Panthers don't have a QB. They went through the Mayfield experience, didn't work out. They went back to Sam Darnold. Doesn't seem like it's really working out. The Colts, they need a quarterback. I can very well see them try to get a quarterback in this draft. The Arizona Cardinals, they have a quarterback. We have Kyler Murray, right? We have Kyler Murray when October comes around, but we still have a level of, oof, did we make a mistake? The Atlanta Falcons, they have Desmond Ridder. Can that be the quarterback of their future? I don't know. The Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson is probably one of the, at least as of right now, one of the biggest mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes that the Denver Broncos could have done. Now, can he fix it next year? Yes, he very well can fix it next year and prove a lot of people wrong. Is he going to? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And then the Houston Texans. Who's the most intriguing out of those six? I would put, and see, here's the thing. Like my Homer hat comes on, and I do want to say the Arizona Cardinals because of Kyler Murray. I truly want to say, but I would tell you who's the least intriguing. I can tell you who the least intriguing it is for me. I would say, I don't know. Oh, that's a tough one. I probably should have thought of this before we got on this live stream. Now I'm getting myself all twisted up here to figure out who really is the most intriguing. Now, I think you can kind of make a vote for the Texans, right? The Texans are in obviously rebuild mode. They have the very first overall pick. So any chance of the quarterbacks that new head coach wants, they can very well get, right? Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Levis, right? So, I mean, that's a little intriguing. Now, let's be honest. They're not going to be we're going to succeed so much after this first season. I doubt that, right? The Houston Texans are not going to be that team, at least next year. Maybe in a couple of years they might, especially if their quarterback works out for them. So they have a little intrigue there. The Denver Broncos, man, with Russell Wilson, I don't see any intrigue there. Their defense looks pretty good. When they want to, right? When they want to, their defense looks pretty solid. They got some young pieces over there. They're not 100% put together like they want it to be, but I mean, they got some young pieces over there. So they're interesting, not intriguing. They're interesting, but Russell Wilson scares the living hell out of me. I'm not going to lie to you. He scares the living hell out of me. The Atlanta Falcons, Desmond Ridder, that team right there seems to be, they need an absolute rebuild. Like that's what they need. They need an absolute facelift. Is Desmond Ridder their quarterback of the future? I don't know, right? The Colts, it seems like Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, seems to be very, very heavily involved in that organization. His hand is so far down that cookie jar that I don't know if we have any head coach that wants to come into that environment. Well, I mean, maybe, right? You're still a top 32 person, right? You're still like a head coach. So, I mean, maybe you still might be able to convince somebody that the Colts might be available. Well, unless they ended up keeping the interim coach right now, unless they ended up keeping him. The Carolina Panthers, although they don't have a quarterback, I still think the Carolina Panthers might be the most intriguing, at least in my mind. The most intriguing might be the Panthers because of their young pieces they have on defense. Their quarterback situation is as scarce as they possibly can. But if they do choose to get a quarterback, they can very well trade up for a quarterback, right? So to me, I think the Carolina Panthers, if I'm going to take my homer hat off, like, right, my homer hat off, I would say the Carolina Panthers are probably the most intriguing. And then second will be the Arizona Cardinals. And the biggest reason why is because of Kyler, of the potential of what Kyler can be. Now, you can also look at it on the other side of the coin, right? You could also say, oh, you guys have Kyler Murray. You're strapped into Kyler Murray, and he didn't look very good last year, right? Almost the same way as that I'm looking at the Denver Broncos. Maybe there might be people from the outside looking in will saying the same thing. Well, you have Kyler Murray, right? You're strapped into him, a guy that's not coachable, a guy that's, all the big narratives are out there that are on Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, right? Everything that you could have come up with, every stupid Call of Duty joke, all that different stuff. You could say the same thing for Kyler. But I would say the Panthers might be the most intriguing because their defense looks to be maybe one or two pieces away from a very, very solid defense. And then following after that, maybe the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Sean Payton, right? And I hate beating a dead horse, right? I hate beating a dead horse because everybody knows right now that everybody wants Sean Payton. I think I at least saw one or two comments down here talking about Sean Payton. I think it's a no-brainer that everybody wants to get Sean Payton. A no-brainer. Everybody wants to get Sean Payton. That's probably the first on top of their list. And going back to what I said a little earlier, some people might have gone as far as saying, if we don't get Sean Payton this offseason, then I don't want to move off of Cliff Kingsbury. I don't like that narrative because I almost kind of feel like we're stuck with Cliff Kingsbury because of the situation that we put ourselves in. Now, the person who's going to be able to obviously make this right is Michael Bidwell, right? Michael Bidwell is the one who made these decisions. Michael Bidwell chose to extend Cliff, extend Keim, and Kyler Murray, right? Well, maybe it was Keim who extended Kyler Murray, but it was still, the check had to go through Bidwell and get the okay through Bidwell to actually do it because believe it or not, Bidwell has a lot to say with this organization, right? He's more hands-on than we think. Let's just put it that way. He's more hands-on than we think. So the Arizona Cardinals right now, for the list that we have, I would say that maybe number 2 with those 6 teams that we're talking about in terms of most intriguing. Now, Sean Payton never said that he wanted to go to the Panthers. That's for sure. He never said he wanted to go to the Panthers. The Chargers and the Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals are the ones that are constantly being swirled around, right? Those are the teams that are constantly being swirled around. When you're thinking of Sean Payton, you're thinking of the Cardinals, the Cowboys, or the Chargers. I would say don't keep Cliff Kingsbury don't keep Cliff Kingsbury because we're scared of not getting Sean Payton, if that makes sense. Don't keep Cliff Kingsbury if you're scared of not getting Sean Payton. Here's the reason why. Let's put a Suns reference in there, right? Do you remember this last offseason with the Phoenix Suns? They went all in on Kevin Durant, all in, and they were waiting. They were waiting. Oh boy, they were waiting. And it seemed like a real possibility. In the moment that didn't happen, crap hit the fan, and the Arizona Cardinals did nothing in free agency. And look at them now. Injury. It doesn't seem like the players that were playing very well are playing very well anymore. We can't wait on one specific person to do this. I get it. Sean Payton is the gold mine. I understand it. Go all in on Sean Payton. If it's a no, then we get another head coach that's a very, very well good head coach coming in. I know I said a little earlier that D'Amico Ryans is not a guy in my top 3 list. But if you really think about it, my top 3 is Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, which might not leave college, Ken Dorsey. That's my top 3. If we can't get the first 2, then D'Amico Ryans is right back in the top 3. So if that's the decision that they make, hey, I would still be happy with that because new culture, right? New culture, a new leader comes in. And I think that's something that the Arizona Cardinals need to do. We need a new facelift. We need an absolute new facelift for this Arizona Cardinal organization going into this 2023 season. And I don't know anybody else that are saying otherwise. I feel like this is something absolutely that the Arizona Cardinals need to do. I truly want to hear what Michael Bidwell has to say about this. It's so funny because any of these people that make these big decisions, they never admit when they're wrong, ever. Never admit when they're wrong. But this is the dumbest decision that Michael Bidwell could have done. The dumbest decision that Michael Bidwell could have done was giving everybody an extension because we got an 11-win season. Come on. 11 wins? And then you went ahead and extended somebody who just lost to back-to-back quarterbacks the prior year and then went through a rebuilding mode the year prior? What was so intriguing to get that job done? I don't get it. I don't get it. Bidwell is a bad owner, period. Oh, facts. 100%. 100%. Do I want Michael Bidwell to sell? Hell yeah, I want Michael Bidwell to sell. But here's the thing. This Arizona Cardinal organization has been owned by the Bidwells for years and years and years and years and years and years. I don't see them or him ever selling because to him, it's a family business. It's got to go through every single Bidwell that looks exactly like him. It's got to go through him. And I just don't think that's ever going to happen. Now, I still think the Arizona Cardinals can potentially be a Super Bowl team. Maybe not next year, maybe not the year after. But as long as we're making the right progressions and not looking dumb on our only, playoff appearance in 3 to 4 years, I think it's a step in the right direction. Now, do I expect for Michael Bidwell to make the decision right after our game? Right after the San Francisco 49er game? I don't expect him to make the decision then. Truly, I don't. It's an away game. If this was a home game, maybe I would have a different answer. But this is an away game. I think on Black Monday is when we're probably going to be hearing the news if that is going to be the decision that Michael Bidwell is going to go through. There's a lot of people on the outside. A lot of people on the outside are saying that the big known secret is that most likely Cliff Kingsbury is going to leave, right? Or he's going to get let go. But like, that's the thing. We're all hoping our hope, holding on to this hope that is going to be the thing, right? We're all holding on to hope that we're hanging on to what the people from the outside looking in is saying. That's the thing. Michael Bidwell, I don't know what Michael Bidwell is going to do. I know if I was Michael Bidwell, I would have told you this right now. Why keep Cliff Kingsbury this entirety of the year? Why? It makes no sense because this is what he does. That's a stupid thing to do. And now you're holding hope to Cliff Kingsbury potentially thinking he's got a job next year. You should have just ripped it off like a Band-Aid if this is what the Cardinals are going to do. If not, oof. Good luck with season tickets. Let me just tell you that right there. Let me just tell you that right there. Let me get to my super chat here real quick. No F's given. He says, Mike, I don't care if we have the janitor as a head coach. Get Cliff out of the coaching position. I'm tired of him and his play calls. Yeah, I agree with you. How can Michael Bidwell save face to the Cardinal organization? Truly. How can he try to make these edits? How can he try to come out and say, oh boy, 2023 is going to be amazing, guys. We got Cliff Kingsbury coming for the 5th straight year. Watch out. Season tickets now available on selected view. No. I don't think that that's going to be attainable for Michael Bidwell to try to sell a 5th year of Kyler Murray coming back in October, maybe them going into another bigger match, and Cliff Kingsbury coming, back into another this coaching position for the 5th straight year, and we've done nothing in his tenure. We went to the playoffs once and we got destroyed. We weren't even in the playoffs. We slept through it. So I don't see how he's going to be able to save face, honestly, if that's going to be the decision he's going to make. I truly don't. Thank you so very much. No F's given for the super chat. Appreciate you. But yeah, I'm curious. Oh boy, I am curious. We'll have our answer come Monday. We'll have our answer if Michael Bidwell has the, you know what I'm trying to say, if he truly has it, because he needs to look himself in the mirror and say, hey, I made a mistake. I shouldn't give these men extensions. I made the mistake. Now, I'm not saying Kyler's safe either, right? Kyler's our quarterback, and I'm fully aware of that. But here's the thing. Blood's in the water right now for Kyler Murray. When he comes back from his injury, boy, he needs to make a lot of things up. Because this last year, we have so many fans that are out on Kyler Murray, it's not even funny. At least 20 to 30% every single time I do a poll, at least 30 to 20% every single time I do a poll, whether it's my Instagram or my YouTube channel, 20 to 30% says Kyler's got to go. So he has a lot to make up when he comes in October. He needs to revive his career and make sure that people believe in him again. Because people are talking, people are chattering. And not only that, the national media is talking about how he's uncoachable. That's not a good look for Kyler Murray, whether you believe the narratives or not. The outside looking in, the people that are not Cardinal fans, if they feel that way, it's going to start festering. Just the way that it is. Jason with the next super chat. Appreciate you. He said, Clint looks like he's aged. Like he's embraced. Oh, yeah. I feel bad for Cliff. I truly do. I don't think this is all on Cliff. I truly don't think this is all on Cliff Kingsbury. But it's the position that you're in, right? Injuries played a part. It's not, it's a big part, but it's not all on that, right? We just lost to the Broncos. The Rams, which are depleted as we are, destroyed the Broncos. It's any given Sunday at the end of the day. Any given Sunday. And the Arizona Cardinals, we just picked up a participation trophy this last week because we played decent. We played Good. It was the best case scenario to play as good as we did against the Falcons. Come on. Like, that's where we're at? That's where we're at as an organization? Like, that's where we're at? So yeah, it's not all on Cliff, and I agree with that. But how are you going to sell this fan base with the fifth year? You can't. I don't think I don't think you can. And especially you bringing Kyler Murray in, regardless of the way that they say things about, regardless if they're like, oh, we're cool, right? We're fine, regardless, because we all know that that's BS. We all know it's BS. We can see right through it. Kyler's going to be like, oh, yeah, it's just football jargon. And Cliff Kingsbury is going to be like, oh, whatever. No, those two men can't work with each other. The jig is up. Kyler Murray has peaked. The next head coach that we bring in here needs to elevate Kyler Murray. You can't go out here and do a fifth year of Cliff Kingsbury and making sure that your franchise quarterback is completely solely strapped to a college head coach that did nothing in the NFL. And if you do that to Kyler Murray, man, you set out Kyler Murray to fail from the get. From the absolute get. If that's what you're going to do to Kyler Murray, Michael Bidwell, then you're setting him out to fail from the absolute get. And that ain't right. That ain't. I agree this isn't an all on Cliff. I get it. But how are you going to sell this next year to the fan base? When Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, more Kyler than Cliff, I'm aware, barking at each other back and forth. How? We've peaked. Cliff has peaked. 11 wins was the peak. People want to talk about the 11 wins, but they don't want to talk about how we got destroyed at the end of the season. We lost to the Lions. We lost to teams that we shouldn't have lost to at the end of the season because we started off so hot, 7-0, right? And we only have one home game win this year. One home game. When you got teams like the Rams beating the living hell out of the Broncos and then the Broncos beating us, come on. It ain't all on Cliff, and I agree with that, but you also got to get players to play for you. You also got to motivate these players to tell them, hey, the season isn't over yet. And yes, he's saying it, but one in one ear and out the other, because I truly don't think that these players truly want to play for him. And I'm only speculating, right? I don't have any insight or anything like that. I'm always seeing what I'm seeing. I see teams win for head coaches. Regardless of how many injuries happen. You could have a third string quarterback out there. I see teams win for their head coaches. Broncos did it against us. The Falcons did it. We could probably go on in other upsets that we ended up seeing this offseason. But hey, at this very moment, what Cliff needed to prove in these last 5 to 6 games was that he can win 2 out of those 6 games. That's what Cliff needed to do. At least 2. That's our bar. That's how sad it is. That's our bar. Cliff needed to prove that he could win at least 2 out of those 6 games with all the injuries that he has. And guess what? He didn't. He didn't. He couldn't even win 1 game against the Broncos. I clearly remember doing a realistic view on the last 6 games. How many games are the Arizona Cardinals going to win? And I foolishly said, we're going to win 2 out of the next 6 games, ladies and gentlemen. Book it. I said, we're going to win the next 2 out of the next 6 games, ladies and gentlemen. Book it. And boy, how dumb do I look now, because none of these players did anything to win for Cliff. Nothing. Okay, injuries are a thing. But you had 6 games to change a narrative to at least get 2 wins. That's all we wanted. That's all I wanted. 2 wins. We couldn't even get that. We couldn't even get that. The proof is in the pudding there, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to hear it or not. Cliff ain't the guy. You give him a healthy roster, he'll win. But here's the thing. You want to win a Super Bowl, right? That's what we all want, right? The Super Bowl. Unless you guys are just willing to give up your money for a mediocre team, then that's okay. That's fine too. That's your decision. Is Cliff going to be able to win a Super Bowl? Ask yourselves. Is he going to be able to win the big games? Ask yourselves. Because Cliff Kingsbury has already, in my mind, failed 2 out of the 4 times to win the big games. 2 out of the 4 times. Year 2, he lost to back-to-back quarterbacks. Failed to win the big games. Failed to win the big games. Year 3, it took us damn near to the end of the season before we can find out that we got a playoff spot. Can't win the big games. And then this year, because of the riddled injuries, 4-win team. And this is a team that has talent. This is a team that had Zach Ertz. This is a team that had Marquise Hollywood Brown. This is a team that had DeAndre Hopkins. This is a team that had Kyler Murray. This is a team that had James Conner. This is a team that had a lot of great pieces. And I get it. We never had everybody healthy at once. I'm right there with you. And I do agree with you into a sense there. But we had all offseason to make an offense to adapt that we weren't going to have DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games. We had all offseason to do so. And Cliff couldn't do it. Cliff couldn't do it. One of the wins was against the choking Raiders. That's one of our wins, against the choking Raiders. Another one of our wins was against the Rams, and we know what the Rams are now. Another win is against the Saints. We know what the Saints are. So this year, we haven't won a big game. we truly haven't. The Cardinals haven't won a big game this year. Oh, yeah, and the Panthers. I'm sorry. The Panthers. We won. I think that was impressive. I think that was impressive that we won the Panthers because we haven't beat the Panthers in God knows how long. And for some reason, they always have our number. Thank God for Baker Mayfield starting that game. Let me just tell you that right now. Because if he didn't, we probably would have lost that game. So proof's in the pudding. Proof's in the pudding. Cliff hasn't won any big game. Name me one big game that he's won. Crickets. Crickets. Too much talent. Too much talent on this roster to not get at least 6 to 7 wins. And here's the thing. Out of the last 6 games that we had, when my expectation was at least winning 2 out of those next 6 games, that would have put him at 6 wins, right? That would have put him at 6 wins. And believe it or not, you would have had some fans saying, okay, maybe Cliff Kingsbury can come back for one more year because he did all he could with an injury-riddled season. Oh boy, am I glad we haven't won any of those games. Am I glad? Because now 4 wins is despicable. It's despicable. In 4 months, we're not going to, or 3 months, we're not going to think this, right? Because the NFL draft is coming and we're going to be singing a different tune. And I'm right there with you as well. But despicable. 4 wins with the roster that we had? We're sitting 4th in the NFC West right now. 4th. We got the Rams that is hurting as bad as we are. And they have 5 wins. Now, I get it. It's only one more win, right? Only one more. But the Rams can very well win 6 games if they beat the Seahawks in this week. Do we stand a snowy chance in hell against the 49ers? Be honest. Anybody in this chat, all 80 of you guys, do y'all think that the Arizona Cardinals can beat the 49ers? Nah. Ain't gonna happen. Even the most positive fan out there that we've been trying to talk for quite some time is now turning over the leaf and saying, maybe Cliff ain't the guy. Well, no crap. No crap, Cliff ain't the guy. The proof's in the pudding. We know what he is. We know what he is. And now that we're having this bad of a season, nobody wants to talk about the Cardinals. I'm here. Nobody wants to talk about the Cardinals. And those are the same people that were telling me, hey, Mike, When DeAndre Hopkins and Hollywood Brown are on the field the same time, ooh, watch out. When DeAndre Hopkins and Marquise Hollywood Brown are on the same field, you'll see this offense explode, I was told. I'm still waiting for the explosions, y'all. I'm still waiting for the explosions because we've seen nothing this year that gives any optimism. Our identity on offense is throw the damn ball to DeAndre Hopkins. That's still our identity. We do nothing great. We don't. I chalk that up to Clifford. I was told, watch out, DeAndre Hopkins and Hollywood Brown is going to change this offense. Still waiting. Still waiting. First game they came back. Oh, it's just the first game. And then, of course, Marquise got hurt, which nobody predicted that. And then DeAndre Hopkins goes out for 2 games. So it's like, it's one of those seasons, right? It's one of those seasons. And now James Conner isn't playing in this last game. Deebo Samuel's playing against the Arizona Cardinals. They also got Elijah Mitchell coming back. What the? Like, what are we doing? I don't think there's anybody in this chat thinks that the Arizona Cardinals can beat the 49ers. And that's why we have 73 people in here, not over 100 people trying to talk about the Cardinals. That's why. Because nobody wants to talk about the Cardinals at all. Appreciate you, Sam. Thank you so very much for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Thank you so very much. I wish I could see the design that you sent. Actually, let me do this. For some reason, on what I use, for some reason, it doesn't show me the design. I don't know why. Okay, there you go. I see it here. Hey, you. Thank you so very much. Appreciate the super sticker. But yeah, I mean, going back, right? Going back to this whole topic that we've been talking about, who has the most intriguing job? I think the Panthers can very well beat the Cardinals in terms of intriguing job because that defense. Truly. If I was going to put my homer hat on, obviously I would say the Arizona Cardinals. But no, I think the Cardinals are probably going to be anywhere between maybe the second most favorited job or intriguing job, or maybe even the third, just depending on who you're asking. I don't think we're the bottom. I don't think we're the least intriguing. Yes, Kyler Murray is kind of a thorn on our side because we still don't really know exactly what he is. I have optimism that he's going to get better, right? I have optimism that he's going to flourish with the new head coach. It's just depending if that's what Michael Bidwill chooses to do, right? That's the biggest thing out there. Now, David Blau, is he going to have a good game? I hope he does. I truly do hope that David Blau has a good game. Truly. Now, I don't think he's going to like win the game for us, but I just think that all we're asking for as Cardinal fans is to stay in the game. Like, that's it. David Blau's story, right? Coming from the Lions, and then from the Lions ended up going to the practice squad of the Vikings, and then the Arizona Cardinals ended up picking him up because of all the injuries that we've been having. I hope David Blau has a really good season or game. I truly do. I actually ended up asking my Instagram people, on the people on my Instagram, who's going to be our next, backup quarterback. And right now we have 296 votes on Instagram. 37% says David Blau. 28% says Colt McCoy. 24% says the quarterback's going to come from free agency. And then 11% says we're going to draft the quarterback in the later rounds. So, right? I still think the backup quarterback is going to be an intriguing position going into this offseason because whether you believe it or not, Colt McCoy, I don't think is a for sure thing that he's coming back. Although he has one more year left in his contract. He's Cliff's guy. If we get a new regime, he's Cliff's guy. Maybe he might decide to retire, right? We don't truly know. So per Instagram's votes, to like close to 300 people voting, 37% says David Blau is going to be our backup quarterback next year. I mean, and I wouldn't hate that. I truly won't. I truly wouldn't hate that at all. I think David Blau showed very good promise in this last game. Now, granted, yes, it was against Atlanta Falcons, right? It wasn't against a what do you call it? It wasn't against a 49ers defense. That's for damn sure. So, I mean, truly, right? David Blau he had a good game against the Atlanta Falcons. Against the 49ers is going to be very telling. It's going to be very like, okay, I see you there, David Blau. Because maybe the Cardinals know something we don't know, right? Maybe the Cardinals know something we don't know. And maybe Colt McCoy is going to be deciding to hang it up. We don't know. Truly don't know. Let's see. How old is Colt McCoy? Let's take a look here. Colt McCoy right now is 36 years old. 36 years old is Colt McCoy. And I'm only assuming by the start of next year he might be 37. It doesn't show his birthday here, so he just says it's 36. I'm assuming 37 is what he's going to be at least sometime during the season. He might turn 37. So we'll see, right? Intriguing. Absolutely intriguing to figure out what's happening. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are the most intriguing job out there. No, but I do think that we're a solid number 2. I think we're a solid number 2. Because Kyler Murray, to me, is still intriguing. And I know there's a lot of people out there, and trust me, you're going to get comments out there and being like, oh my God, Mike's talking how good Kyler Murray. Okay, yeah, but Kyler Murray's our quarterback. What do you want? Until Kyler Murray gets released, traded, all of the above, he's our quarterback. I mean, it is what it is. I still have hope and promise that he's going to get better with a new regime and a new coach. And if Michael Bidwell doesn't choose to do that, then damn, shame on Michael Bidwell, because we're strapping this young man to a guy that seems to have already peaked. So we'll see, right? We'll see. We'll see what happens here. We got somebody in the chat saying Harbaugh is coming to AZ. We have better dairy farms. Well, I mean, those are kind of the options that we have right now, right? I mean, who's going to be the most intriguing head coaches, right? Sean Payton, obviously. Jim Harbaugh, which I know there's a lot of people being, there's at least 1 or 2 comments. He's staying in Michigan. Okay, we hear you, right? We hear you, Michigan people. We get it. But if somebody truly offered Jim Harbaugh a position, I think he would take it in a heartbeat. Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, Ken Dorsey, Shane Steichen, or whatever his name is, offensive coordinator from the Eagles, DeMeco Ryans, Frank Reich. There's still some people out there that the Arizona Cardinals can choose to bring in. So, I don't know. And this is what I'm talking about. The feeling of feeling hostage and being bent over the barrel. This is exactly what I'm talking about right here. That's the feeling that we have right now. Because truly, why keep Cliff? Why keep Cliff the rest of the year? If this is what's going to happen, if he gets fired either at the end of the game or on Monday, keeping him was the dumbest thing we could have done. Because why? Or at least in my mind. Let me ask you, the people in the chat right now. Let me ask the people in the chat right now. Is DeAndre Hopkins a Cardinal next year? Let me ask you guys in the chat. Is D-Hop a Cardinal next year? That's going to be another intriguing storyline as well going into the season. Is DeAndre Hopkins going to be a Cardinal next year? Got some people saying yes, of course. Somebody says let D-Hop. I'm assuming let D-Hop go is not a Cardinal fan. I'm assuming that it's not a Cardinal fan. And if he is, okay, I mean, I see you. Get draft assets. Oh, okay, so you're not saying release him. You're just saying trade him. Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, then you might be a Cardinal fan. Okay, then you might be a Cardinal fan. I thought you were just saying straight out release him. I was like, not sure about that one. Watson might lure him into Cleveland. Man, Watson doesn't even look the same. They might still have a relationship, right? I mean, yeah, he was his quarterback for a very, very long time, but Watson doesn't even look the same, to be honest with you. I mean, I get it. He wasn't even here, right? He wasn't even here for a bit. So, I mean, we'll see what Watson has if he does come back, right? We'll see what happens. But truly, Watson doesn't even look the same. Man looks bad. Best player on the field, Nick Chubb, and he ain't getting the ball because of Watson. That offense doesn't look like it's as explosive as everybody thought it was going to be. Well, here's the thing, right? And here's the funny thing. Well, I guess not the funny thing, but when I'm talking about this right here, right, this topic, I'm not insinuating that the Arizona Cardinals are going to trade him. I'm not insinuating that because I'm fully aware that DeAndre Hopkins has a no trade clause. I'm fully aware of that. I'm not saying that the Arizona Cardinals are going to choose to trade him because they want to trade. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is DeAndre Hopkins want to be a Cardinal next year? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying, oh, Cardinals are going to want him. Obviously, Cardinals don't want to trade him. Cardinals want to keep a top 3 wide receiver. And that's just known. And I'm not saying that is going to be a situation where the Arizona Cardinals have leverage. We have no leverage here. He's got a no trade clause. Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm not just making stuff up out of my butt. Yeah, I know he's got a no trade clause. I'm aware of that. But what I'm saying is DeAndre Hopkins going to be a Cardinal next year? I'm not insinuating that the Cardinals are going to do it. I'm insinuating that does DeAndre Hopkins want to be a Cardinal next year? That's what I'm asking. Because if you think that we're going to be retooled and we're going to be going back again for another playoff run next year, then cool. I think DeAndre Hopkins will be back. But if we don't go for a playoff run, DeAndre Hopkins is what, 30, 31 years old? Does he want to go for a Super Bowl, right? That's a big question. Nobody's loyal like Larry Fitzgerald was, right? Larry Fitzgerald was loyal to a fault. This man never won a Super Bowl. We had Michael Floyd here. Michael Floyd has now have a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots. Boy, did he deserve that Super Bowl? No, he didn't deserve that Super Bowl, but he was smart. He was smart in the way he did it. He's got a ring, and that's all that matters to him. Okay, congratulations. Larry Fitzgerald never got a ring because he was loyal. He was loyal to a fault to stay with the Arizona Cardinals, and we did nothing except for 2008. 2015 was pretty fun too, but we got whipped. We got whipped by the Carolina Panthers in the playoffs. So I'm not insinuating that the Arizona Cardinals has leverage here. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is does DeAndre Hopkins want to be a Cardinal next year? That's where we're going. Diop is like, Larry, I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure about that one. And that's the thing too. Yeah, I see you there, Arjun. And here's the thing too. But and that's another situation that we're feeling, right? Another kind of feeling like you're felt hostage to, right? You're felt hostage because I think if you ask an average Arizona Cardinal fan, most people would say, no, don't trade DeAndre Hopkins. And I'm right there with you too. No, don't trade DeAndre Hopkins. But if he wants to go, you got to honor what he wants, right? The superstar wants to leave, and that's the thing. Now, there's no reports. There's nothing out there that says DeAndre Hopkins wants to leave, right? Nothing. But we don't know what's going on in the inside of the locker rooms, right? DeAndre Hopkins probably wants to win a Super Bowl. Is he going to win it here? Some very positive fans might say it. So, yeah, this topic isn't because I think the Cardinals are going to do it, because technically the Cardinals can't do it. He's got no trade clause. Yeah, I know. I'm aware of that. But it could be waived by a player that either wants to do it or, well, I guess that would really be the only option, right? If a player wants to go, he can waive it and be like, yeah, no worries, trade me over. So that's what I'm insinuating. Now, for me, right, DeMeco Ryan, which a lot of people have on their list in terms of like their number 2 head coach, that's not, he's not my top 2. He's not my top 2. I'm aware that my top 1 and 2 are very unattainable, and I'm aware of that. I would rather see an offensive mind come in and be our head coach. Because if we do bring DeMeco Ryan in, and I know it really is going to be based off who's going to be the offensive coordinator for him, right? Because what we want is to elevate Kyler. If you can sell me on a really good offensive coordinator for him to bring along, then hey, I'm game. But as of right now, I'm only hearing a defensive mind, and I don't know if I'm 100% confident with another Robert Saleh situation. I don't think I'm cool with that. But Vance, I'm honestly indifferent. Honestly, here's the thing. If there's a new regime coming in, I don't see a world where Vance keeps his job. If it does happen and the new person comes in, then that's cool. I mean, honestly, here's the thing. I don't have any issue with Vance Joseph. I truly don't. And I know there's people out there, they're like, oh my God, Vance sucks, right? Vance had a terrible defense, right? Okay, chill, pump your brakes. Me, I don't have an issue with Vance Joseph. I truly don't. Is there upgrades? Is there people better than Vance Joseph? Yeah, there is. There's better defensive coordinators out there than Vance Joseph. Yes, there is. Can we get them? That's the big question, right? But I think if a new regime comes in, usually more times than not, they want to bring somebody with them. More times than not. If not, if there's somebody that's like a brand new head coach and all he knows is coordinator or anything like that, then hey, maybe he can be like, yeah, keep him. No worries. I like what he does, right? But I kind of feel like Vance Joseph is really, he falls victim to what's going to happen to the staff. If Cliff stays, blood will boil, but I can see Vance Joseph staying. If Cliff goes, I would say 50%, 50%. Vance can either stay or he can go. But I have no issue with them. I truly have no issue with Vance Joseph. I don't think our defense is great to be holding Vance Joseph to the standard of he should be great, right? Now, if Vance Joseph was the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers and he was looking as bad as we were, then obviously get rid of him. But Cardinal fans like to believe that our players are the next best thing since sliced bread. It's just what it is. Well, not just Cardinal fans, any organization, right? Any organization wants to believe they have the best players that's going to make their team to succeed. And right now, that defense that was put together by Steve Keim isn't great. Just put it that way. We've seen Zaven Collins get better and better, but he's struggled, right? Even in the latest Hard Knocks episode, we saw the that coach saying that sometimes Zaven gets in his head too much, right? He doesn't trust his instincts. He still struggles with that. Isaiah Simmons, although showing flashes, struggles with coverage. Our defensive line isn't as consistent as we would love them to. It's not even to mention our secondary, right? Without Byron Murphy, Marco Wilson had a very good game, but is the consistency there? It's not. I like Jalen Thompson. I like Buda Baker back there, but the cornerback core that we have, it wasn't focus. It wasn't a main focus for Keim. Let's just put it that way. It wasn't a main focus for Keim. So I don't have an issue with, and I know that's a long-winded question or answer to your question, but I just wanted to make sure that I covered my bases because to me, I can see him staying or going but it really just depends on the staff though. Like the new staff, if there's going to be a new staff or not. Somebody's asking about Derek Carr. If the Cardinals are interested in Derek Carr, I don't know about that one. I mean, if he's released, the Cardinals can maybe take a look at him. But the thing is that we have a franchise. Here's the thing. I don't think Derek Carr is going to want to be a backup quarterback. There's probably more suitable spots for Derek Carr to go to other than the Arizona Cardinals. There's more suitable spots where he can probably get as a starting position. Because let's be honest, whoever we get in free agency, maybe later on in the draft, you're probably going to know that you're back up to Kyler Murray when he gets healthy, right? So for Derek Carr to take a job here is not going to be in his favor at all. He's going to be a backup to Kyler. And he probably will be way too expensive for the Arizona Cardinals anyway. So it doesn't make sense to get him. At least in my mind, it doesn't make sense. Is there interest there? I don't know. I don't know. Do we need another quarterback? Possibly, right? That's why we're seeing David Blau for the second straight game. That and Colt McCoy obviously isn't the healthiest. So we're seeing David Blau to evaluate. Is it going to be our backup quarterback next year? Right? He looked good against the Atlanta Falcons, but it was the Atlanta Falcons. We have a tough test here against the 49ers. So we'll see. I fear that we're going to be seeing Ryan Lindley, Max Hall, Derek Anderson, Sam Bradford, Kevin Kolb, anything like that for the first 5 to 6 games, the first 7 games, depending on when Kyler comes back. I hope it's the beginning of October, because if that's the case, then he would only be missing 3 games. And we can have a lot of ground to kind of catch up from there. But I fear that we're going to see that type of quarterback. And if you don't know who I'm talking about when I said Ryan Lindley, Max Hall, Derek Anderson, Sam Bradford, Kevin Kolb, any of those types, then you don't know the struggle. I fear we're going to be seeing that type of quarterback. What I would love the Arizona Cardinals to do, once I do my mock draft, I'll tell you what I want the Arizona Cardinals to do. Mock drafts are coming soon. So we have made it to the hour mark, ladies and gentlemen. Man, these hours go by absolutely quick. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I absolutely do appreciate you guys for rocking here with the AZ Sports Fan. I know this ain't the best time to talk Arizona Cardinals, right? It's near damn tough to talk about this Cardinal team. Everybody's waiting for 48 hours from now, right? In 3 days. We're all waiting for Black Monday to come through and see what the future of the Arizona Cardinals are going to look at. Because as of right now, we're just kind of going through the motions. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. Thank you so very much, everybody, for tuning in. This is going to be where I leave you. Have a fun-filled weekend. We have some football tomorrow. We got some football on Sunday. The Arizona Cardinals game is going to be 2:25 Arizona time against the San Francisco 49ers. And boy, I hope we don't get absolutely destroyed. Well, I kind of do. So it maybe kind of forces the hand of Michael Bidwell a little bit. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure. Definitely fist bumps and fire emojis in the comments below. Thank you so very much for tuning in. As always, have a great rest of your day and go Cards.